On this edition of 30 Minutes with Government, Business Outreach and Placement Program ends, Caribbean Wellness Conference kicks off, and Minister Boseman discusses immigration between St. Martin and Anguilla. All this and more ahead when 30 Minutes with Government continues. Stay tuned. The Caribbean Wellbeing Conference, under the theme Best Practices in Promoting Student Wellness, bringing the child, family, school, and community together, kicked off on Sunday, August 6th at the Bel Air Community Center. The two-day conference seeks to promote the positive development and well-being of children, parents, families, schools, and communities. At the opening ceremony, speeches were given by various persons, including Dr. Mark Tajeran, Associate Professor of Psychology at St. John's University, Mrs. Connie Francis Gomes of the St. Martin Youth Council, Dr. Francia Guadalupe, President of the University of St. Martin, Secretary General of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, Ms. Yoreen Huerta, and keynote speaker, Dr. Hickswell Douglas, who spoke on the importance of all in the community coming together for the success of our children.
The conference touches on a very important aspect of my own personal life, in which persons have collaborated for me to be where I am today. And as we get into this presentation at this particular time, it's going to be a little different with a couple things. And you're going to see what makes it so very different. Let's go. As you can see, my first slide should be up there. And there should be some music going along with it. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Ladies and gentlemen, the children are our beauty and our future. And as we go through thinking about well-being and how we're going to work for them, there are voices of wisdom that speak to us regularly. Alone, for example, we can do so little. But together, ladies and gentlemen, we can do so much. Individually, we are like one single little drop. But together, we are an ocean. And when we recognize that, we will understand the importance of the kind of collaboration we're speaking about. More voices of wisdom. We have all borrowed and worked on the notion of this African proverb that tells us that, and by now you should know it, but I don't want to say it. Just click on it and let's see what we hear. Together we are one. Oh, 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 together we are one. Yeah, so we're going to run to the next one because I'm sure it should be on the next slide. Let's try the next slide. Some interesting things are... Yeah, go ahead. So we hear the voices of that village, all coming together. So can we therefore imagine then, ladies and gentlemen, that it would take a village, an entire village of families, caregivers, of teachers and school support personnel, including our psychologists and our counselors. It take all kinds of community members to raise our children in order to facilitate their well-being and their success. Very, very important for us to think along those lines as we go forward thinking about the well-being of our children. But there are questions, of course, that we should probably ask ourselves. Let's go. And the question, therefore, must be, we should be having a song that says, there are more questions than answers. But the question is, how might schools better be able, and I'm having a little trouble here as my finger is a little numb, but how might schools be better able to partner with our families and with our communities so that as they partner, they will be able to create a very important impact for our children. But not only that, the question that we should all be asking ourselves is, what is my school doing at this particular time to collaborate with families and to collaborate with the communities to ensure the success of our children? There are some authentic voices that speak to us. Authentic voices that tell us that when families, community groups, and I'm reading with a different finger up here, so it's not so easy. Community groups, business, and schools band together, very important things can take place in trying to help our children to succeed. And so I want to demonstrate to you, ladies and gentlemen, how important this kind of bonding is going to be. Because here we have these rings. And we need to get to a point where if you knew anything about magic, and I'm not a magician, I'm just doing some visual illusion here, then you'll see how we're going to band together. And because we don't have enough time, then you can further look and get an understanding of how all these things can come together to cause our children and our communities to work together so that we do the best for our children. Very, very important.
(2017) Atlantic hurricane season storm names: Arlene, Brett, Cindy, Dawn, Emily, Franklin, Kel, Harvey, Irma, Jose, Katia, Lee, Maria, Nate, Ophelia, Felipe, Rena, Sean, Tammy, Vince, Whitney. The season officially begins on June 1st and will end on November 30th. Be prepared. Remember, it only takes one to make it a bad hurricane season. During the most recent Council of Ministers press briefing on August 2nd, Minister of Justice Raphael Bosman gave an update on a meeting with an Anguillan delegation pertaining to immigration matters on persons traveling between the two countries.
I must say it was a very fruitful and productive meeting. The question at hand was the situation with Anguilla. There are many residents of Anguilla or folks with belonger status who travel abroad and who use or the Juliana Airport or the Anguilla Dock as a point of entry to St. Martin as a transit situation. And some of these folks who are legal residents of to Anguilla hail from countries where a visa is required for St. Martin. And that we evaluated that situation to see how that was going and where there were bottlenecks and how we could resolve those bottlenecks. If a visitor from a visa requiring country residing in Anguilla wishes to, let's say, travel to the US and they come via the airport, it's not really much of a problem once their connecting flight leaves the same day, because they would go to the transit hall and they would move through. It's a different situation when the person would arrive by ferry, and especially if the connecting flight is the following day, because then they would have to be admitted to St. Martin while there is a requirement for a visa. At the meeting was also present officials from the Department of Foreign Relations of the St. Martin government. And it was explained that especially because some of these problems, there is a visa that is referred to, called the Caribbean Carpet Visa, which is, has a simpler process of requesting and is given within a relative short period of time, and how this visa, having this visa can resolve a lot of those problems.
The Collective Prevention Service, CPS, a department in the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, has extended the deadline in connection with its third annual breastfeeding photo contest to and including Friday, August 11th. Those who would like to participate in the contest can still do so up to August 11th at 12 p.m. Submissions should include your name, telephone number, description of photo, and why you chose to breastfeed. The image of yourself and your breastfeeding baby should be submitted to the Gmail account sxmyouthhealthcare@gmail.com. Due to ICT issues, the deadline was extended from August 7th. Those persons who had already submitted their photos prior to August 7th are requested to resubmit their submissions to sxmyouthhealthcare@gmail.com. The rules for the contest are: photographs must not be older than 2 years, pictures must be submitted by the mother or partner, watermarks are not acceptable. Pictures submitted after August 11th at 12 p.m. will be disqualified. Pictures will be judged. First prize is a weekend stay at Sonesta Maho Resort and Casino. Second prize, a breakfast at DV Resorts and the Pandora gift certificate. And third prize, a gift certificate from Indulgence by the Sea and a goodie basket from Manrique Capriles and Son. The Office of Disaster Management is urging livestock owners to review their plans now of how they will secure their livestock in the event of a hurricane strike. Livestock owners should make sure that their animal holding areas and other infrastructure are able to sustain a hurricane. Any loose material that is currently not in use should be securely fastened in order to avoid damage to property and endangering human lives during the passing of a hurricane. The following tips should be taken into consideration. Don't keep your cattle in a barn or stable structure. This is to prevent injury from flying debris. If the barn or stable collapses, cattle have no chance to save themselves. Instead, relocate livestock to a predetermined safe area and ensure that they have access to hay, pasture, clean water, and a safe area or high ground above flood levels. If you have chicken cages, these should be reinforced. Medical supplies and a first aid kit should be kept on hand. Store drinking water for a number of days. Also, have an adequate supply of feed. These tips come from the Office of Disaster Management. In news from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, the Business Outreach and Placement Program, or BOP as it is better known, has come to an end. The yearly program, which seeks to give students an opportunity to intern at various government departments and private sector businesses on the island, ran this year from July 12th and concluded on August 4th. At the closing ceremony held at the University of St. Martin, Head of the Department of Youth, Mrs. Shermina Powell Richardson, commended the students for making the best of their opportunities.
I want to say that this program is a work-study program. It's called affectionately BOP, but the official name is the Business Outreach and Placement Program. And we want to say that we commenced this year, July 10th, which is also very unusual because this, I believe, the month of July and the month of August had 5 weeks, right? Yeah, 5 weeks. So we're falling into the 4-week program, we're falling into the month of August, which is today, August 4th. And so that was 4 weeks, July 10th to August 4th. We believe that all the students during this period were exposed to a very healthy working environment. I've gotten the reports from Ms. Arnell as she visited all the different departments, divisions, the companies within the private sector, even the non-governmental organizations who actually also participate in this program. And we got a very, very, very good report. So I think I would want you to give yourselves a great round of applause for a job well done. I must say, she kept saying, our students are the bomb. That's her word. So every time she came back to the office, she kept saying, our students are the bomb. And that made me very proud. Because one of the things that we realize in society is that a lot of times we look at all the bad things that happen and we really, you know, kind of like, I would say, make it, expound on it, and it's over and over, you know. But I do want to encourage all of us who are seated here that the good things, let us begin to echo it into society so that everybody can say, hey, St. Martin, our young people are doing well. Not all, but I believe that most of them are. And so I want to really commend you for a job well done. I want to say that when I was growing up in your age, and that's a long time ago, don't ask me my age, but I do have age, a good age. I don't recall getting this type of opportunity. And so I think that as the years go by, we're improving as a country in order to, I would say, prepare the youths who are the future of this nation. And so I want to say that it is a wonderful opportunity and make use of it. Please, as you go back to your schools, those of you who are going back, mention it also to your peers and tell them that BOP is coming up again in 2018. And so please participate. I'm encouraging you, some of you perhaps, and I remember one of the students, I don't know if he's here, he said I was, you know, working with the papers and I got an allergy. So some of the things were not so nice. But they are part of the challenges that we face as we really enter into the real world, which is the workforce. And I want to say to you that don't see the challenges as a disappointment, but as a stepping stone. I think that BOP also gives you a unique opportunity that if you've never worked before, that you will be receiving a certificate which you can show in the future to a prospective, I would say, company that would want to hire you. There are many, many students, and we're going to highlight that on the 20th anniversary, where many, many students are now working. They are heads of departments, they're supervisors in the private sector, and so forth and so forth. And so that is definitely a positive development.
Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport Secretary General Urine Werther, on behalf of Minister Sylvia Jacobs, congratulated the students and spoke on the effectiveness of the BOP program.
98 BOPers, as I've grown accustomed to reference you, actually 98 of you, of which 68 that worked in a variety of government entities and 30 in 10 businesses. And my colleague Sharmina has mentioned that is also a milestone, as it really shows that BOP is not only dedicated and meant for government opportunities as an intern, but also indeed a countrywide initiative in which the private sector participates. That's great. And that is indeed a 2 thumbs up for the business representatives that are here to this evening, this afternoon, and those representatives indeed are not here with us, but still gave you the opportunity to have this wonderful internship as the first step of your independence, of course. I can indeed, when Sharmina was reminiscing, I mean, my mother is from here, but I grew up and was raised in the Netherlands, and we definitely didn't have that opportunity either. So, of course, everybody wants a little bit of pocket money. We shouldn't underestimate that. I mean, everybody wants to maybe use this extra money to have maybe a little mini vacation, buy that super outfit, because of course girls love to have their special outfit. And, you know, that shows that you're on your way to independence. You know, you're on average probably 1 year away from graduating and therefore making very significant choices. Some of you may have their tertiary education here. Others of you may go to the States, go to Canada, go to the Netherlands, go to the stay within the Caribbean, in Curacao and Aruba. There are a range of opportunities for you. And with this first internship, you really get a feel of how you can strengthen your independence further. So that's a great opportunity, and indeed the youth department in this 19th year should be recommended for this great initiative. So as I mentioned, I'm here on behalf of the minister. And she apologizes for not being able to be here. But of course, also a minister is entitled to a little bit of a free time a week with her family. And we definitely want to grant her that opportunity so that everybody comes back re-energized for the start of the new school year, as that is like 2 weeks away. So as I mentioned, on behalf of the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, I would like to congratulate you, the students, for completing this month of long training at the respective businesses and government organizations. Congratulations, the Minister says, on taking this step and wanting to go the extra mile. And going the extra mile has been our motto for the last 2 years as well.
Here at the Department of Communications, we were joined by 2 BOP students, Omari Phillips and Giuliani Robert. During their time, the students learned administrative, research, and interview skills. They were also given instruction in basic photography, videography, and audio engineering, as well as how to craft the perfect press release. The highlight of the internship for both students was having the opportunity to interview Prime Minister William Marlin, Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport Sylvia Jacobs, and BOP Program Coordinator Ms. Freya Arnell, as well as other BOP participants. In an interview with 30 Minutes with Government, Omari and Giuliani described their time working at DCOM.
My name is Omari Akim Phillips. I am 18 years old and I currently attend the St. Martin Academy PSVE, and I have a passion for graphic design, video editing, media arts on a whole. Well, to me it was more about the experience because I wanted to get more knowledge on something that I was looking into, which is media arts. I was not sure where I was going to be placed, but I was really looking forward to somewhere with photography and video editing. So it was mostly about the experience. Well, the first day I was there by the department, of communication. We mostly got around to know the staff, where everything was, the storage room. So basically it was a tour of the department. My favorite experience was the inside look with our audio engineer. It inspired me a lot to follow a next field in my career, and I would have to say the editing and the photography behind the scenes with the camera equipment.
My name is Giuliani Roberts. I am 16 years old. I attend the Charlotte Brookton Academy of the Performance Arts, and in the future I want to be a ENT surgeon. Basically, my friend, actually, she did it last year and she told me about it. And when I heard about it, I was interested because my summers, I don't do anything. So I was like, I need to do this because it's an experience for me, because I always wanted to have a job during the summer. I always used to ask my mom, can I please, you could find a job for me, or can I find a job? And she used to be like, yeah, but this is actually, when I heard about this, I was like, I should do it. And now that I am 16, I get the chance to do it. My first day at the job, I met the staff. I was appointed to secretary, so I got to know the rules about secretary before I started the next day. My best experience working at the Department of Communication was interviewing the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, and also the Prime Minister of St. Martin, also coming to the live press briefing conference, because not everyone get to see the ministers every Wednesday at the press briefing. So.
Well, I have learned that any task or assignment I am given, I will do my utmost best. But one thing about myself, I don't like to do something blindly. Like, I would like to know most information about a task or assignment I am given. But if I am given that job and I see motivation in it, I will be inspired, and that will be like an extra field I would want to pursue in my career.
The internship taught me to be more confident in myself, because usually during the time I was giving up a lot, and also I was putting myself down. So my supervisor, she had a paper there for me that says always never give up and always push forward. So I have to say she who taught me how to be more confident in myself and also never give up and push myself forward.
Most of all, my message would be to the younger audience, or the students that might be watching. At first, do not look at it as the money you may be gaining. take it as the experience you may gain and the knowledge you might get, because first of all and most important, it's a great addition to your resume for future companies that you may be applying for or going to a college or whatever the case might be. So just think that you may be getting a great experience and inside look on a company.
As Omari said, don't look at it for the money, look at it for the work experience, and it will look great on your resume. Also, it keeps you busy and you learn more about the inside of the work field, not the outside. Hi, I'm Juliani Roberts.
And I'm Omar Phillips, students of the BOP program.
Join us for a special edition of Inside Government highlighting the Business Outreach and Placement Program.
August 11th on this channel.
After a one-year hiatus, the 2017-2018 Hypergenders will be available for high school students in St. Martin, Saba, and St. Eustatius in time for the new school year. The locally produced agendas have been completed and are ready for students to use, Coordinator Zuleika Peterson said in a press release on Monday. The agendas are usually produced every year, but due to unforeseen circumstances, they did not come out last year. The agendas give students an easy access to a range of useful information, inspirational stories, and contain lots of space to note down their important school-related information and reminders. The agendas are specifically tailored to cover and coincide with the school year, making them easy for students to use for school-related reminders, such as noting down their assignments, projects, homework, and other related activities. The agenda was produced by the Voice of the Youth St. Martin in collaboration with a group of students from the various high schools in St. Martin. Participating students were from the St. Dominic High, Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts, Sundial School, St. Martin Vocational Training School, both sections of the St. Martin Academy, Milton Peters College, and Learning Unlimited Preparatory School. Students and teacher role models from all the high schools in St. Martin, as well as from the Sabre Comprehensive School and Gwendolyn Van Putten School in Statia, are profiled in the agenda. Participating students were actively involved in the production process and determined the information they wanted to see reflected in the publication. This brings us to the end of this edition of 30 Minutes with Government. For video on demand, you can visit the official website of the Government of St. Martin at stmartingov.org. You can also visit our Facebook page and give us a like. And don't forget to set your radio dial to St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM. On behalf of the Department of Communication, I am Giselle Misudan York. We'll see you next time.